The weight loss honeymoon is that point in your beginning to work, getting to take care of your life and your health and your weight, where your water weight falls off. The weight lost is fast. But then afterwards it comes to a stop. So let's say you lose 7 pounds the first week of your intermittent fasting plan, and then guess what? It just T-bones right there and stops, or it appears to. And then you go by another week and maybe only a pound comes off, or maybe only a half a pound comes off. Guess what? Take a number and get in line. That's the norm. What so many do is they fall in love with the weight loss honeymoon. That's that period where your water weight is coming off. Your water weight has to come off first, because when you gain weight, as your body's putting more on, it stores water, glycogen reserves, next to shuttle more nutrients into your cells, or in the case of fat, stored energy is what it's trying to do. It took years to get fat. It's going to take a little while at least to get it off. Can't forget that. Don't fall in love with the weight loss honeymoon. When I started out, I lost 11.1 pounds the first week, followed by 9.25 pounds the second. And then after that, you know what happened? It stopped. And then I had my first very short plateau. I think it was about 1.3 pounds I lost that week. And then when I finally pushed past it, it wasn't long until I hit my first big plateau. Now, a plateau is the same thing as dealing with when the weight loss honeymoon is over. Once you've lost your water weight, you're actually losing your body weight. You're actually training your body to carve into your fat storage and use up that stored energy. So that's why it goes slower. People write me and say, I only lost a half pound or 1 pound. Guess what? That's good news. That's really good news, because that means a pound of body fat. You've actually absorbed the stored energy that you put away in storage so very long ago. So that's something to be excited for. But when I started, my first big plateau after 345, my first big plateau was 325. And it lasted until 313 pounds. It was a long plateau. It started there, and then I lost to about 321. And then as soon as I hit 321, I went to weigh the next week, and can you believe what happened? The scale numbers went up. And I thought, oh my goodness, I got those feelings like a lot of you experience where you just want to faint. You just think, oh, I feel so bad. I feel like it'll never happen. And of course, that's the real problem. We humans absolutely suck at measuring time. And so no matter how we seem to approach things, we don't have the perspective to reel it in and say, look, you've made the change. You're just going to have to give it time. And so finally, 3 weeks went by. The next week, I maintained the same weight, about 320 something. And then finally, after 3.5 weeks, I started losing again. People write me after a few days and they say, it's not working. And I'll say, how much time did you give it? And they'll say, oh, about 3-4 days. And I'll say, your body has not had enough time. And you shouldn't even be weighing yourself anyway that quickly, because it's not your weigh day. You're supposed to weigh once a week. Watch my video on weighing once a week. That's how it ends up working. So finally, I started making slow losses again until I was about 313. And after that, guess what? Big losses. 2.5 pounds, 3.5 pounds. Then my body learned what I was doing. But you can't ever assume that your body's going to just understand where you're coming from. It doesn't. The best thing you can do is to understand that there will be plateaus, there will be peaks, and there will be valleys. Go to any bodybuilder or weightlifter and use them as an example. The biggest thing they will struggle with is peaks and valleys. They will have a peak where they gain a lot per year of muscle, and then they'll dive off where they'll just maintain. And it will grow and level off, grow and level off. And it's going to do that forever, because you're human just like anybody else. And it's that way with every single creature on the planet. If we could just grow our muscles through the roof all the time, that would be just great, but you'd be non-human. You'd be Wolverine or something. You wouldn't even be Wolverine. You'd be better than him if you could just always grow, or if you could always lose fat. If you could just say, I want to lose 3 pounds every week consistently, you would be an inhuman machine, because that's simply not how it works. And so the best thing you can do is to realize that the most important thing is consistency, because the honeymoon is the worst thing. Getting off your water weight, all you're doing is paying your dues. You're getting ready to lose, but you're not yet losing in the truest sense of the word. So it's good to track your progress for that. Now, that said, we have a good community on MyFitnessPal. forums.omad.info. please check us out. I'm going to put a link to it. If you're struggling and you need support, there are people there who are losing by eating once a day. Come and join us. It's a lot of fun, and you'll get the support you need. One thing for sure, don't start worshiping that honeymoon that everybody falls in love with. Just like a marriage, you're going to have those periods where you have to come to terms with the fact that you're going to be sitting next to each other and one of you is going to fart. One of you is going to not brush your teeth that morning. One of you is going to let themselves go for a while. Those are all the mechanics of living with someone. Just the honeymoon, just meeting and getting married in a nice chapel, that's the society's illusion of being in love and being married. The truth of the matter is much more subtle, much more intimate. Same thing with your body. You're going to have weeks where you don't lose. You might even have weeks where you gain, but you have to remember you're teaching your body to learn a new way to be. You're teaching your metabolism. You're speaking to it in the language that it understands, the language of nature, and saying we need to downsize because we're too big right now. So keep that in mind. Don't get discouraged. Don't think that you are the exception, because like every human being on this planet, myself included, you are going to have plateaus. The important thing to realize is that a plateau becomes something different if it's longer than 6 weeks. So if you get stuck at a weight for longer than 6 weeks and you find that you have not made any progress, then it's time to reevaluate. But that's the basic rules. Don't fear plateaus. Expect it to take a while, because that's the nature of bodily changes. They take a while. I wish we could speed up evolution, but we can't. So I hope this helps.